The Pterosapiens, first introduced in 2006's All Tomorrows by C.M. Kosemen, are a post-human species designed and bred by the Q using star people as the base genome. They were first genetically modified into a form known simply as the Flyers, and they were one of many human-derived flying species that the Q created. Quite why the Q decided to create flying humans is unknown. We do know, however, that the Q were fond of keeping pets, as is the case with the hedonists. It's possible that flying pets were also popular among them, and with the Q also having the ability to fly, one can imagine a Q taking its pet flyer out for a fly, similar to how we humans take our dogs out for a walk. Perhaps the Q would wrap its long tail around the flyer's neck and guide it around in mid-air. While many of the flying species which were created never regained their human intelligence and instead lapsed into a permanently bestial state, one variation would eventually evolve to become highly advanced and become the dominant species on its planet. It is said to be monkey-like, and could fly using wing membranes which were stretched across its last 2 fingers. Once the Q had left their world, this particular type of flyer was able to become the master of its domain due to its having a uniquely shaped heart, said to be starfish-shaped, which again was specially designed by the Q. This artificially created heart was made so that it could pump blood to all of its extremities, those being its head, wings and legs, in rapid succession, meaning that it wouldn't need to devote the majority of its energy to either just its ability to think or its ability to fly. It could have both. With this advantage over the other flying species on their world, they would begin the slow and painful journey of evolution once again. They evolved into a wading, stork-like species of predator, of which no illustration is provided, before going through many more changes. They eventually became the species known as the Pterosapiens. Theirs was a truly unique civilization, one of fantastic sky cities with fluting buildings that stretched up into the heavens, lined with perches. The ground below would likely have been overgrown and wild, with the civilized world taking place miles above. The Pterosapiens had little use for land. By this point, theirs was a truly enlightened society, one that boasted some of the greatest philosophers and thinkers of all the human-derived species. Their brains were enormous, and they put them to good use. The scrolls and written works produced by the Pterosapiens would have been the envy of all of humankind's greatest philosophers. Aristotle, Confucius, Nietzsche, none of them had anything on the Pterosapiens. This species, unique in its ability to fly, had never really become a territorial one in the way that humans and their descendants on other planets had been. Travel had never been an issue for them, as they could simply fly to wherever they wanted to go, and as such, countries with real boundaries had never been formed. Cultural differences never really had a chance to come about, as the Pterosapiens were far too mobile, and the exchange of information with others from across the globe had always taken place, even in their earliest stages of development. They had never been isolated in any way, and so unlike most intelligent civilizations in which tribes come first, followed by city-states, and then countries which join together, ultimately resulting in globalization, the Pterosapiens planet had bypassed all of this, having always been a globalized world right from the start. Theirs was a fast-paced world unlike anything we 21st century humans have ever seen, and the Pterosapiens likely never even had any need for vehicles. They could fly wherever they wanted to go. One can imagine what life on their world would have been like, high up in the clouds where their miles-high cities would be at their busiest. Pterosapien individuals racing past you through the air at breakneck speed, going to work and living their lives. And the Pterosapiens' world was a fast-paced one for good reason. Though their starfish-shaped hearts were immensely powerful and able to pump blood to a set of wings and a large brain at the same time, it was also an imperfect, artificial design. As such, the Pteros were susceptible to severe heart conditions, and their lives were incredibly short by our standards. They were usually dead by the age of 23. It was because of this that they cherished every moment of their lives, for they knew that it would not last long at all. This didn't prevent them from achieving great things, however. They progressed and advanced themselves for millions of years, eventually joining the Second Galactic Empire, a federation of worlds inhabited by other Q-created future humans. They would likely have eventually solved their health problems, perhaps with the help of the future humans on the other worlds, as theirs was an empire of peace and immense shared technological advancement. All was well for tens of millions of years until, like all members of the SGE save for a few bug faces, they were wiped out by the insane Gravital, a race of former ruin haunters, another Q creation, who transformed themselves into machines to cope with the heat of the expanding sun that their planet revolved around. The Gravital were deluded and were hell-bent on destroying all other future human species, as they fanatically considered themselves to be the only true heirs to the long-gone Star People. The Pteros were annihilated as a part of one of the greatest acts of genocide the galaxy had ever seen. However, they had truly made the most of their short lives and had achieved great things. But, like all species, their end eventually came. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to help support the channel, then please like, share, subscribe and check out the merch store, link in description. This has been Beware the Q, and I'll see you in the next video.